I'm about to get on an interview with Ryan Glasgow. He is an LA talent manager who has come up for the Actors Conference back in May of last year. And he is so insightful. His thing is, he does a lot of coaching, obviously, and talent managing, obviously, but he specializes in self tapes. And here he is. Bring, he's watching. I'm saying hi to him, and I sent him an invitation. But Ryan, if you didn't get it, why don't you send me a message, and I could resend you. Let's see them on camera. Um, anyway, so I'm here. What do I tap on? So what I think there's a menu on the bottom of your phone that says you're invited, accept or decline. And let me see if I can do this again. I did this when I started. Invite. Here, I'm sending you another invitation, but I sent you one before I started. So it should pop up, and if it pops up, click on it. Yay, and I see that you want to be in my video too, so I get to, but I hope you come on. So anyway, he's going to jump on the phone, on Facebook Live with me. We're going to just chit chat about self-taping and, all the new things that come with learning submitting self-taping. It's a lot to do, but it gives you such a huge advantage as a performer and an on-camera talent and actor actress, especially if you don't live in the immediate area or you may be booked on something else, and people are looking at you and wanting you to be a part of their project. So it's taken a while.
Yay!
Hi, Stacey. Yay, it's working.
This is how.
You're like,
so it was trying to make me turn my iPad from horizontal to vertical, and it had this little thing that was like turn it. I was like, I don't even know what it means, and so finally I was just like, I turned it, and here I am.
Otherwise you're sideways, and it's so weird. It's not really user friendly yet. I'm sure there's only a handful of people that are using this. So when we all complain,
my hair is almost too tall for it.
Oh, you know what? My hair is kind of wild today too. How weird. Well, I'm glad you made it. Woohoo!
Yay!
I'm excited. You're coming up in August, so I got to say that right now.
Super excited.
So people know.
You said you were doing a self tape.
Well, it wasn't for me. It was for one of the people that come to the studio, and she was going out for a project that wasn't immediately around here, and so they asked for a self tape, and she did a monologue. But there's so much to learn about self-taping. It feels like it's always something new, even though I do it all the time for me and a couple of my good buddies that come to class with me. It's just, you just have to stop being a perfectionist.
Well, yeah, I mean, and there's not a lot to learn about it. I mean, that's the thing is keep it simple. I mean, it's about the acting. I mean, I've had clients book jobs where, the mom had the kid in the back seat of the car because they were stuck in traffic, and so I mean it was just like recorded from her iPhone from the front seat to the back seat. You know what I'm saying? The acting was good. It was what they were looking for. So it's really just about good sound, and it's about creating good eye lines. It doesn't matter about the technology. The key to self-taping is in the chemistry. You know what I'm saying? You have to create the chemistry of who that character's talking to and how they feel about him, tell the truth, and the technology is neither here nor there. Yes, it should be lit well if you can get it lit well, and hopefully the sound is decent, but an iPhone can make, I mean, I self-tape every week using my phone and a blank white wall. That's it.
Well, I do get mixed information. In fact, I was talking about it with somebody.
A lot of people really complicate this process. They really do.
Yeah. And there's studios out there that now you could go and pay $1 to and do your self-taping. And I think people get overwhelmed. I know sometimes I get overwhelmed, but anybody can come here and do their self-taping here. It's not a big deal. I offer this to all the students that come.
Here's my opinion about why people get overwhelmed. Okay. Self-taping and that whole creating it for the same reason that people got so confused about headshots and what's my type and what am I supposed to look like before I shoot. Imagine how actors complicate things when they've got to prepare a role. Like, that's why, people complicate it so much. And the way that you have to self-tape, you've got to think competitively. You know what I'm saying? And producers, casting directors that are watching these tapes, they don't need you to create the room. They don't need you to create anything. They just need to see how your version of the character is different from every other tape they're going to look at. So, top of your head, center of your chest, know the role. The main thing is know the role like you've been playing the role for 10 years, right? And then look right in. I always, unless casting specifically says slate at the top, I always suggest and try to slate at the end so that they see the character first and then the slate, But if they insist on slate at the top, I have people slate in character. So it's a seamless beginning from slate to character. And it's about telling the truth, period. And the eye lines thing that I taught you guys when I was up there, and not doing any eye acting, In a self-tape, there's no reason to be like, hey, listen. And I can't tell you how many times people will do that crap. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all the eye acting and all of the theatricality, I guess.
Theatrical?
Yeah, it's like eye acting, and it's a waste of time. It blows the connection. Point your instrument in a straight line and tell the truth, and that's all self-taping needs to be. It's yes, people have overthought it, and it's also actors love to need help. Headshots in the old days, people had to rely on professional photographers to get headshots because there was only a few people around with good cameras, right? Then everybody got good cameras because it was cheap, so headshot photography, got affordable because everybody could afford it. Well, now self-taping is just a new business, right? And rather than actors just empowering themselves and just feeling confident and going, okay, it's about getting a clean performance into this phone, or if you've got a good camera, great. But it's not about the quality of the production. It's about telling the truth, getting it in, and having it compete with all the other people that look just like you sending in tapes. And, that's key. Like, I had this thing, the other day where, the dialogue coming at the person was, we're breaking up, right? And the actor wanted to go, oh, and like act and think over here. It's way more effective, when, we're breaking up. No, we're not. It's like listen and receive. Let the information come into your eyes, affect your brain and your heart, and let it all happen in a nice straight line. As soon as you go to the side of your head, you're just tight, making noise out of your face. You know what I'm saying? Compete with self-tapes by creating strong eye lines, and chemistry is all that matters, period. Chemistry.
So I hear a lot of different like reasons. I don't want to say complaints, but reasons why people don't do their self-tape and submit them. And one of them is, well, I don't have a reader, or I don't have somebody do something with me, or sometimes it comes in like I have 6 hours to do it, and how do I track down somebody? So what would you say to those people who have those comments or those hurdles?
Not having somebody to read with, that's a tough one. You know what I'm saying? Not having some, because that is and can be a hurdle, because you definitely need another person.
Hi again. I am so sorry. I realized that I had a magnet attached to my phone on my new phone case, and I think that may have drained the battery. I don't know, maybe I was just not paying attention to my battery level. I don't know, but anyway, I sent Ryan another invite, so hopefully he jumps on. And again, I apologize. I figured that out the second time I went live. So anyway, we're gonna hopefully my battery doesn't drain again, because it did go to 0. And then oh, sorry, I think I flipped you guys. This is not there we go. Phew. So Ryan, if you're out there, come join me. But in the meantime, I'll talk really quickly about what I just went through. It was a self taping for one of the actors that come around here and there, and there's just a lot of little details that even though I do this myself often, that I get caught up in the overwhelm of getting this done. And yes, we did like several takes, and we did some coaching, and then of course having to go through looking at the tapes and also separating the slate. I almost said introduction in the self taping. We, just to pick that and having to attach those two together and pick out which take was the best take. And we kind of had conflicting ideas on which one was the best take. But anyway, my suggestion to her, and it was, totally up to her, that came in and did a self-tape, which one she should submit. But, I always try to go for the cleanest one, and the one that's most effective for the actor. And hopefully that one is the one that gets sent. But anyway, I was hoping to get Ryan on, and he's waving. Hi, Ryan. Accept my request. Oh, yes, and not talk so much. Hang on. There. Oh, it didn't go through right. Approve. It's shaking, but it's not letting. Here we go.
You never actually sent me the request. You just imagined you did.
No, I did. You know what? I'm going to take screenshots. In fact, I wonder if I can do a Facebook Live with
myself. Don't try anything fancy.
All right.
Keep it going.
I feel like we got to start over and
I don't even remember where we left off. An hour ago.
It felt like an hour ago. But so we were talking, I asked you a question about, so one of the things that people complain about, it sounds like a complaint. It's really not a complaint. It's just an obstacle of doing a self-taping and having a partner or somebody to read with you while they're doing a self-taping.
Right.
Now, when they get something like at 1 and it's due at 5.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Not having a partner is a real obstacle. That can be something that's hard to get around. But the not having enough time, I have to lovingly say, cry me a river. You know what I'm saying? In the real world, in the old days, before, like self-tapes were a thing, there have been same-day auditions, there have been next-day auditions since the beginning of auditions. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be in showbiz for real, then sometimes you get a few hours with the sides and you suck it up, you give the best, most honest performance you can, and that's the way it goes. Not enough time. What if soap actors were like, they got the rewrites in the morning in the makeup chair, and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't give me enough time. No. Your job is to learn to memorize quickly. So maybe, people that complain about not having enough time, maybe one of the skills they should add to their list is some memorization skills, learning to memorize quickly so that they don't feel so insecure. But not enough time. That's cute. Oh.
No, well, you know what? I got to admit, when I went out for a trauma, the one of the few shows that were up here in the Bay Area in the last 10 years, he gave me the script and said, go out. I want you to read this instead. It wasn't even 10 minutes. Oh, I got to go back in. And I went back in and booked it. But it isn't a matter of the time. It's about, you and your audition, what you can pull off in the time you're given.
Well,
right?
And here's the thing.
Like you said, do the most honest approach you can.
If the words aren't perfect, nobody's going to care. If the casting director gives you 10 minutes with the scene, right? And you come back and the words aren't perfect, I guarantee you they're not going to care as long as the chemistry is real and as long as they believed you. As long as they believe whatever it is you're saying in that amount of short, I'm sure they just want to see you nail the type, and you did the right thing by not panicking and just, giving it your all, and look, you booked,
Yeah. Yeah.
But not having enough time, that's hilarious.
That's okay. Okay. Um, yeah. So, is there any like equipment that's like routine that you use routinely with self
I
taping
I
that people
literally
should?
use my phone and a blank
That's it.
white wall, and sometimes I have one of those little handheld, sort of like it holds my phone sort of like or it can stand up, um, but
Uh-huh.
or I'll put it on a tripod, you know. But I generally, you know, get right up in there with my cell phone, so I get a nice, top of the head, center of the chest, eye line angle, and that's it. It's my phone.
Got it. So you're going to teach a lot of skills when you come up in August. You're going to teach some really specific skills that people can take away and utilize all the
Absolutely.
time.
My goal is like,
Yeah.
even here in LA, I want to simplify the process so people realize that they're overthinking everything from their headshots to their self tape. It's about learning somebody else's words when you're self taping, and then giving the most competitive, which means unique performance you can. And self
Uh-huh.
taping is all about the level of acting has got to be production quality. It's got to be ready to go. There's no longer a day when you could just like phone in a self tape and think, oh well, when I get a call back, I'll really go for it. No, it has to be, you know, bookable work, meaning super prepared and ready,
Uh-huh.
regardless. And when you can, and like I said, if you only get a little bit of time, then prepare it as best you can and make the chemistry and the truth the most important thing. But the goal is settle with the eyes, listen as hard as you can with your eyes and your ears, and let the material affect you. And that's how hopefully you'll stand out against all the other people sending in tapes for the same role.
Uh-huh. So, so there's mixed information about how people should be off book or, or lines memorized for a self tape. What is your experience, your
People that, I
suggestion?
mean, going to any audition not off book, to me, when you have the opportunity to get off book, you better be off book. If you're not given enough time to be off book, then go in with the sides in your hand, prepared to be able to in character grab the information off the sheet, off the sides, and come back to the casting director without, as long as you don't break the chemistry, as long as it's not acting, acting, acting. 1 second, please. I'm back. Acting, acting, acting. Ooh. Right? As long as there's none of that dog shit, as long as it's just, sorry for the swearing, um, as long as
We can
the
swear.
chemistry intact, it's going to be a solid, truthful audition, right? But being completely off book gives you the confidence to just lose
Yeah.
yourself. And the more confident you are with any audition, the better, whether it's on tape, whether it's in person, and you know, your confidence is going to go a lot higher if you don't have to be thinking, what's my next line? Being super prepared for
Yeah.
any audition, whether it's in tape, on person. Self tapes need to be considered as important and as real as in person auditions. I don't think
Uh-huh.
actors take them as seriously, and I think they feel like, oh, it's just a self tape. Well, you know
Uh-huh.
what? So many
Yeah.
auditions here in LA are also self tapes. That
Uh-huh.
it's not just out of town actors that are self taping. This is the thing now. And you can't just phone in your self tape and expect anybody to be dazzled. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to compete.
Yeah.
And that means be prepared and give it the most truthful, all out performance you can.
So, are you saying that studios and like casting directors at studios are also doing self tape and
Well, if whether you're taping it yourself or whether you're going into a casting office and they're putting you on tape, every audition
well,
is
yeah,
basically taped. So you need
yeah,
to know how to go on tape, whether somebody's taping you at your house or in a self tape studio, or if you get to go into the casting office and it's an in person audition. Every single one of those, the acting has to be as good. There's no difference. You have to be ready for set in all those cases, in my opinion.
uh-huh. Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's just we have the technology now at our own fingertips. I think this is for me. I think it's empowering, and I love the fact that we can self-tape and
I
submit
do
an
too.
audition. It truly is. Um, we have all the control. I mean, you can take like 25
If you need
takes
to,
and
yeah.
send in the best, right? And then at the same time, that is overwhelming. Which one do you choose? You're kind of making your own obstacles for yourself. So, but you can also solve this situation for yourself. How many self takes? Not self takes. How many takes do you do on average with clients when they come up to you and say, "Oh, I
No
want to
more
do a
than
self
3 or
tape"?
4.
Oh, okay. So that's it. 3 or 4
Absolutely.
picks
After
of one.
3 or 4, and you're just, you know, you're acting at that point, and you're trying to predict what they want. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're going to interpret their material, and like you never know how close to what they want or what they perceived your version is going to be. So that's
Uh-huh.
why it's ridiculous to worry about, oh my God, is this the right one? Is this the right one? Is this the right one? Because I guarantee you, they're probably going to think that the right one isn't any of the ones that you like, because what they envisioned had nothing to do with what you envisioned. So the right performance is the one that's the most truthful and the one that has the most connected reaction shots, so that you're listening and being triggered, and it's 100% truth. It's not about, ooh, in that spot I was so good, you know, or like, it's not about how much you loving your performance. Again, it's always best to have a second person there to help you edit, and you
Okay.
edit yourself, and to sort of keep you out of your own way. But 2, 3 takes, 4 at the most, if you're really having a hard time with a big chunky monologue or something, but get it over the plate, tell the truth, and like I said, make sure that it's your best work.
Uh-huh. So, okay. So we got that out of the way. I'm trying to think. If anybody has a question, feel free to type it in. We'll, I can ask Ryan. But you're coming up August 18th. I feel like I should do that to myself too. The last time you were here was over a
I
year
know I was
ago.
really
So,
fat.
oh my gosh, no, you
I
weren't. But I
was.
have a
I
great
was
picture
80
of
pounds
you.
heavier than I am now, so I can't wait to come up there and show off my new.
80 pounds? Are you
Yeah.
serious? You dropped 80
Yes,
pounds?
approximately.
Oh, holy crap. How did you do that? What was the
I went on
secret?
one of those, 2 shakes a day, cleanse diets, one sensible meal, and I've been exercising.
Oh my. So what do you do for exercise?
Well, I call it my prison workout. Actually, it's just stuff I can do alone in my house. Because I'm finally gay enough. I started working out, but not gay enough to join a gym. So I do Jane Fonda stuff that's on YouTube from the '80s, and just sit-ups, push-ups, and I call them my lady exercises. Working. It's working.
Okay, I'll stop there. Lady exercises. Um, that's
Yeah, yeah.
crazy. 80 pounds. I have a hard time losing 10. I'm on a challenge right now, a 6-week challenge with my good friend Brian Shep. And yeah, I have a hard time
Is
losing
it
just the
cleanse
last 10
challenge with?
pounds.
Is it one of those cleanse challenges with a specific product?
No, I make up my own product, and we can do whatever we want. But there are
Because I
guidelines.
used Isogenics for my. It was a great program.
Woohoo! High five there,
I
dude.
really
I
liked
do
their.
too.
And I'm actually maybe gonna do a little tune-up, because
Before you come up.
yeah, just, drop it.
So I should have some shakes here for you.
Oh, good
Wow,
thinking. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you.
yeah.
And you feel good and all
I
that.
feel great
Um, It's changed your life.
so far. Yeah, now I gotta find a whole new wardrobe, a whole new look. I haven't figured out, and I'm still trying to figure out the hair. I'm not sure I got the right hair, because my mother hates it.
Well, I need a new headshot because the one that I have is one of you with the hat and you're looking all
Oh yeah,
fine.
that's
But
from like
I,
the early 2000s. We got to get rid of
oh,
that.
okay, I love it. It's my favorite. But so, how many auditions for reels are like percentage wise are self tapes? I always want to ask that. No one gives me a straight answer.
I mean, it changes week to week. I mean, uh, we let's say we get 20 auditions over the course of a week into our company. I would say on any given week, almost half of those are self tapes, where our clients, audition, do their self tapes, email it to me, or they come in and I coach, whatever, and we do it from the office, and then they say, I mean, some weeks it's as much as half.
Wow.
Yeah, no, and sometimes there's callbacks, from those self tapes, but a lot of times they are casting from these tapes, which is why, people that dabble with their self taping and think, well, I'll just see how this goes, sort of phone in a performance. It's just a waste of everybody's time.
Do you think that they could reach more people? I mean, is the pool like so much bigger on the casting end because of that, you think?
It absolutely makes the pool a whole lot bigger because, I mean, saves time and money doing it all this way. They don't have to put people in a room and, see a few at a time. I mean, they can literally, scroll through hundreds and hundreds of self-tape submissions and do a quick glance, and they can choose from a much wider pool. Absolutely.
Okay.
Which is why, again, your marketing tools have got to be tight. It's not about just a great picture and resume anymore. If your self-tape makes it through and they watch it, if you can also have some great demo footage that shows some other stuff, that shows some range to sort of back it up, I mean, that's where actors can compete now. It's beyond just the self-tape. Once they watch the self-tape, they're going to look at all your other stuff, and now you can give some other really great stuff to look at. And
so, just your clients, or just overall, like, what's the? I've been producing demo reels. I produced my own demo reel because I've taken the last 7 years to gather my footage, and a lot of the footage that I was doing just did not really fit well into a demo reel. Of course, it was somebody else's art and work.
Have you seen my new show called Dinner, Drinks, and Demo Reels yet?
No.
If you go to my Facebook page and scroll down, there's a new show called Dinner, Drinks, and Demo Reels. My first episode is with me and Jamie Radovsky, and we talk all about this. It's funny. It's almost like you're pitching my show for me. Dinner, Drinks, and Demo Reels.
Okay. Well, we'll post. How about I post it in the comments and people can come watch? But I'm curious, like, how many actors actually have a demo reel that's out there, hitting the audition scene all the time.
Everyone has demo reels now, because you don't have to wait to book jobs to get a demo reel now. Anybody who doesn't have a demo reel and is still waiting to book a job so that they have a demo reel, as lovingly as I can say this, that's stupid. You can take your iPhone 6 or better and create content. You can team up with one other person and create stuff. You know what I'm saying? Social media and content, once you decided to be in showbiz, I mean, this is just between us. I mean, your social media isn't really your friends anymore. It's your fans, right? For actors. No, I'm telling you, actors need to think about marketing themselves and create compelling content on your social media, because resumes aren't just a piece of paper now. Your resume is a digital thing. Now they can look at credits they'd never recognized, and it doesn't matter, because if there's a link to some footage of that stuff and the footage is awesome, who cares if we don't recognize the credit? If we see you acting and doing something awesome, now that credit actually means something, right? Even if it means nothing in the scheme of things, it shows you doing something awesome, and now it's valuable. So footage for your marketing tools is absolutely critical, and anybody can make a demo reel these days. They made a whole movie called The Rider, R-I-D-E-R, it's in the Lemleys down here. It's an independent film. It's this Western thing. It's so sad. It's a great movie. But they made that movie front to back with 8 people, cast and crew combined. Google it, look it up, read about this movie called The Rider. It's winning all these film festivals. It's gonna be an Oscar contender. When you watch this film and realize they made it, editing, everything, 8 people, okay? I will never, now that I've seen that movie, and now that I know that 8 people pulled that off, I will never let actors make lazy excuses at me again about not being able to, because not everybody can be a great creator and be a genius, but you better be a great collaborator and team up with other people that are, and creating content is so easy, and it's overwhelming because people make it overwhelming.
Yeah, there's only a few choices that you have to make. That's what it comes down to. But I was
You have to make what you love.
so did they do
You
it
know,
on an
here's the thing, like, you have to make what you love, because here's where everybody gets stopped in their tracks when they try to make content. They go, well, I'm trying to figure out what my brand is. You know, once I figure out what my brand is, then I'm going to make some content. Brand is a trap, okay? Brand is this thing that people they spend years trying to figure out their brand rather than just realize that their brand is the same as their type. It is what they are. It's what they're selling. Brand yourself as talented. Brand yourself as rangy and capable of creating lots of stuff. Look at somebody famous like Jim Carrey, right? Is he branded a comedian? No, he's done dramatic work. He's done action. You know, like, famous people aren't branded. You know what I'm saying? So why are people that aren't even famous yet trying to brand themselves when they can look up the food chain and see that nobody does that? It's this weird thing. So when it comes to creating content, everybody gets overwhelmed and thinks choices. What do I do? I don't know what to make. I don't know what my brand is. Make what you love. Watch movies and TV shows that inspire you and see work that makes you go, I want to do that, and then figure out how to team up with, you know, a few of your other people around you that have similar goals and create it. Period. I mean, that's all there's to it. And then maybe you're just creating expensive demo footage for your Actors Access accounts, but maybe you create something that takes off. You never know. But at the very least, you need it for your Actors Access account, and there's no reason to wait for somebody else to book you in their thing that probably isn't going to be good footage for you anyway.
Got it. So, so what do you like to focus on when you teach your audition therapy? I know you have an ongoing class down there, but up here you're going to give a one-day workshop. So what do you like to focus in on with students that you might only have a chance to see them once?
That's all. I mean, the audition therapy class is a. I mean, our group rotates out about every 4 or 5 months. We have a whole new group of people because what I teach, you basically learn and then go off and apply. It's not something that grows and changes, because I don't think anybody should get addicted to, you know, a teacher or a class, or because then you start relying on acting tricks or things. And all I really focus on is simplifying the process down to people can either act or they can't. And if they can act, then the only thing that keeps them from doing it is all the bullshit that they take into the room that keeps them from getting to that place in their brain that existed when they were little kids, that allowed you to make believe like everything was real until somebody yelled, "Dinner!" And then you're like, oh, right? That's all acting is, combined with some, you know, you gotta get it over the plate, and somebody's got to be able to film it, and eye lines are critical. But the bottom line is, I didn't start coaching acting years ago with actors that, you know, didn't know how to act. I started coaching with actors that were already signed. You know, I started coaching because acting and auditioning are not the same thing. Acting is what you do once you've booked the job. You act. You're on set. There's other actors. You have props. There's a director. That's when the acting comes in, right? Auditioning is a totally different thing, because the one thing that you're dealing with during auditioning is audition energy, that thing that people call nervous energy, right? And whether you're super prepared or whether it's a cold read, every audition feels exactly the same because of that energy. And the one thing that I try to focus on in, you know, the class, and then whenever I meet somebody just for one time, is just try to get people to relabel that moment in time when that energy surge comes up. Because what happens is we've learned we feel that, and in the moment we panic and we go, I'm failing, I suck, it's not good. When in reality, that's just our star quality and that's, if we didn't have that energy, nobody would care that we were acting, right? So what I try to teach is, when you're in it and you're having one of those great moments where the acting is amazing, but the lights come on and you're like, oh, shit, right? It's about creating new habits for that second right there so that nobody sees the break. I don't rely on any acting tricks or any acting method. It's just, who am I talking to? How do I feel about them? It's chemistry. Don't give your brain a second to think about anything other than just get right back into character and go right back into make-believe town, because that's the thing that throws most people is they don't know how to start an audition because of that anxiety. And when they start and it's amazing and they get halfway through the audition and all of a sudden that energy creeps up, they don't have a good set of habits for how to stay focused. And so that's basically what I try to focus on, is just telling the truth and not being afraid when your body feels that energy, because that's the energy that artists need to make art. Otherwise, they should work.
Oh no,
I just
you're freezing. Okay, I lost you for
declined.
just a
Somebody
second.
was trying to call me. I had to decline it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know how to turn off do not disturb on my phone. This only really works with the phone. Like I try to do it with my laptop.
I'm doing it on my iPad. It's working great.
Oh, oh, so maybe I should get an iPad for the studio. And you haven't been to the studio here in San Bruno. I'm really excited you're coming. So, do you have a takeaway for anybody who's watching that might be going on an audition today? Before I hang up with you, what would be your advice to one of our actors watching right now?
Make sure that they remember that the reaction shot is just as important as the action shot. And just because you've memorized your dialogue doesn't mean you're giving a solid performance. You have to listen in character just as hard as you deliver dialogue in character, otherwise it doesn't stick together. So learn to go in, trust yourself. If you've memorized the words, then it's about going in, forgetting about everything that you've memorized, locking in with the casting director and asking yourself, all right, who am I talking to? How do I feel about them? And let that moment be real. And that's the main thing, is you don't want to go in with rehearsed crap. You want it to feel fresh and new every time. That's my takeaway, I guess.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited you're coming. I am going
to
post our event on the comments, and if anybody had a question,
and Dinner, Drinks, and Demo Reels is up on my page. I'll send you a link to that, and
yeah, yeah, do that, and I'll post it. So, and then I'll share this video with everybody. I might download the last video and just and merge them together
with some funny music, maybe.
With some funny music, a long pause and funny music in the middle.
All right, good.
So everybody has the same experience.
All right, perfect. Well,
but,
say hi to everybody up there for me, and I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Ryan.
How do we get out?
I don't know. You tell me. I'm trying to hit